Hello, this is Ralf Friedrichs from the Take Your Life Back Today show back again, and we now have our special guest, Gloria Jean Roberts, back on the phone. Gloria, you're on the air.
Hi everybody. Hi Ralph, how are you?
Good. So, we spoke during the week about possibly getting together on this and talk about the elderly. And before we jump into it, I was at the Dollar Tree today, Gloria, with my wife, and there was this poor old lady in front of us who just asked the person behind the register a simple question like, can you bag my stuff? And the guy went ballistic all over this poor old lady. And,
oh dear.
Yeah, and I approached the guy afterwards, and I actually called Dollar Tree to put a complaint in. But that leads us right to this today, which is to how you and I, we grew up in the same time frame where you always respected older people, right?
Yes.
And our blessed elders certainly deserve our respect. Though traditions and ways and everything has changed these days, I truly believe that the younger people today are not being taught properly. And I'm not sure about you, but we try to raise our children to respect elders. What about you? The same, right?
Yeah, well, I have no kids, but I definitely taught second grade, and the kids I had were pretty good kids. But I have seen a lot of parents, they don't correct their kids if they're rude or disrespectful. And it starts at home, actually. They expect teachers to do everything. The teachers cannot be the educator and the parent, too, and a lot of this stems from home. If the parents don't have any respect for anybody else, the kids are certainly not going to have any. And I think my grandmother always said charity begins at home. And maybe they're not being taught the right thing because disrespect is just out of the window. Right. They don't care.
And you as teaching, did they respect you as a teacher at least, or they didn't even do that?
Yeah, I had no problem with my kids. They were great, But we're talking like 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah, well, back then it was maybe a little better, not as good as when you and I mean, when we were growing up, our parents let us know when we did wrong, because back then you were allowed to discipline your children, which you can't do today. So a lot of the things are being taken away. But one of the topics about respecting elders is to listen to them when they speak. And when I say listen, I mean, I talk about not just with your ears, but with your mouth shut. You listen. What do you think about that?
Well, I think children should have a voice, and I don't believe that they should be stifled. I definitely wasn't, but if I knew I was a kid, and I knew that I was supposed to be polite, courteous, and kind, growing up as a kid to adult. It was only if an adult was not acting like an adult that I knew what to say. Like today you got adults that don't respect kids, but you also got kids that don't respect adults, and it's a two-way street. But yeah, I think if an adult is speaking, that they shouldn't interrupt or anything like that. They should know when to speak and not.
Right, and you touched on that by being polite. I mean, being polite is a respectful way of listening, and that
right.
And that is important. And that was the next thing I was going to bring up, but you already touched up on it. You beat me to it, but that is so true. Being polite, not just to elders, but to anyone, is great. But you know what? The biggest gift that elders give us is that we can get advice from them because they've been there and they've done it. Don't you agree?
Oh, yes. I mean, I used to as a little kid, I used to sit with my grandmother and I used to listen to her, talk about things, when she was a kid and, when she got to be an adult. It was great. It was great listening to her. I mean, she had a lot of wisdom and a lot of her cliches and stuff. I didn't think they were going to stick with me as an adult, but I must have been paying great attention because I remember a lot of things that she used to say, and I kind of I will hit on those things that she said, and I'll tell my friends, when I was a kid, my grandmother said this, that, and the other thing. And it's amazing, how much if you listen to adults, how much you take in,
Absolutely.
Because,
yeah,
they have something to say.
Yeah, yeah, and they have plenty of advice. And you know what? I'm not sure about you, but one of the things that I try to do, and you know all the subjects I cover with all my videos. One of the things I try to do with elder people, especially in my own neighborhood, is I try to visit with them. And I want to just show them that there are other people that, other than their own family, that there are humans that actually care and respect them. And whatever neighborhood you're in, do you see a lot of elders in your neighborhood?
Oh my gosh! Ever since I was a little kid, I've always had friends that were older than me. I mean, when I was a kid, I had a friend that was like 60, and I've always hung around older people, so I give them a lot of credit, a lot of respect,
Right.
And I enjoy their company because they'll tell me, about how things were when they were kids, and a lot of people don't want to take time to listen to the older people because they think, oh, well, that was then, this is now, we're not interested.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that you know that I'm an optician by trade. And for a lot of years, every month I would fly up to Alaska and go into the Arctic Circle and meet with Eskimos and do their eyeglasses. I did that all the way up till 2009 when I had a really bad accident. But one of the things that I noticed about the elders, which up in Alaska, the elders like the Indian tribes, the Eskimos, is that the younger people always, when they sit down to eat with the elders, the younger people always let the elders start eating first. Isn't that amazing?
Oh, yes. I believe it's like that in the Philippines and China and a lot of places like that, India. I have friends from other countries, and, they're different with their elders in those places than in the United States.
Right, exactly. Exactly, and in all the years that I traveled up there, one of the things I got to learn from the elders, not from the young people, because the young Eskimos are now wearing sneakers and stuff. I mean, I'm talking about the elders where they're walking around with seal skin on there for clothes. One thing I learned from them is about traditions, and that's what I mean, I don't know if you still have grandparents. I certainly don't anymore, but...
No, my grandmother died in 1982.
Right. So, but didn't you love the traditions that your grandparents passed down to you?
Yeah, I mean, my grandmother, she was a great cook, and she was a great seamstress, and I kind of like to watch her sew, and I wanted to know more about it. So I hang around my grandmother. I don't know. I just adored her. My mom's still around. My mom's like 88,
Right.
And for the longest, my mom and I, we did everything together, and I had friends who would say, why are you hanging out with your mother, So I was like, that's my mom, and she's cool. She's a lot of fun. Once they got to know her, they saw how cool she was.
Right.
But nobody ever, was mean to her,
Right.
I don't know. I just can't accept, a lot of things today. People being rude to one another. It starts out as a child, and then you kind of ask yourself, as they get older, where did that rude adult come from?
Exactly. Exactly. And
that's how it starts.
right, and you said it before in the beginning of the segment. You said it starts at home. I always say to people that the first 18 years of a child's life are the most important, from 0 to 18. And you, as the parent or the grandparent, are responsible for every chapter in their life, from 0 to 18. So what you put into them is what you're going to get out of them. And as you know, my mother just a couple months ago was killed, and she was hit by a truck. And I tell you, she used to love getting phone calls from me. And that brings me to the next topic, which older people love getting phone calls from people like you and me, don't they? Don't you agree?
What? I'm sorry, because I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
What was that?
older people, because all they get to do is sit at home all day, and they don't get a lot of attention from people. They love getting phone calls from people like you and I and other relatives. And I suggest, and I'm sure you would have to concur with me, that calling the elderly is like super important.
Oh, yeah, I do that. I hang out with my uncle a lot, my Uncle Larry. He's 76. My friend Alan, he's 75. My mom is 88, and my neighbor downstairs, she's like 65, and I enjoy their company.
Exactly. And you know what? It's so good when you, like with you and your uncle, when you're with your uncles, I'm sure you tell them, I appreciate being with you, I respect you, because it makes them feel wanted.
Yeah, I love Uncle Larry. He's the best.
Yeah, I
You've
see.
seen him in all the pictures with me.
Exactly. I see them on Facebook. I look at an older person as almost like being a child again. They need to have some sort of attention. And you know what? Nothing for nothing, Gloria. You and I are going to be old like them one day.
Oh, yeah.
And I would want nothing more than for people to pay attention to me. And I didn't realize at one point in your life that you taught. So why don't you give some advice to the younger people about how to treat older people? Go ahead. I'll give you the stage.
Oh, yeah, I think the best way to be, even though you have young friends who may not think it's the coolest thing to be respectful, but yeah, you know what, as kids, you should respect everybody, not just your elders, but be polite to one another, be kind, be courteous, be tolerant. These are things that I learned as a kid, and I just think they're still great values even today. I mean, you ask yourself, why is the world the way it is? The world is the way it is because everybody's lost respect for one another. And that's the reason why our world is the way it is. If you just respect one another and you honor one another, start as a child, open a door for someone, help someone cross the street if you have to, check on a neighbor, just to see how someone is. I mean, there's just so much. There's just so much in the world that, is going on. It would be just a great thing to be just kind. It doesn't kill anyone to be kind.
You know what, Gloria? From your mouth to God's ears. I mean, I couldn't have said that better myself. It's certainly an inspiration to that advice you just gave. And, this may be so simple, but it can be overlooked. If possible, the next time you, my audience, sees an elder person that has been a positive force in your life, just tell them, listen, we respect and we honor you. And Gloria, every time you come on, this is your second time, you certainly give me that extra spark for another show, because what you just gave, that advice, is so true. The world is such a terrible place, and you and I, as humans, can make it better just by being kind to each other. Don't you think?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And, my chiropractor that I was just speaking about, I was telling you about, his father used to work with me on the Board of Elections, and I used to sit and spend a lot of time talking to him, and he would be telling me about when he was a kid in the Philippines and stuff like that, and and he was I just remember him being very upset one day that he had ordered some food from his restaurant, and there was a kid answered the phone, and the kid didn't get his order right, and of course he was livid, so as an adult he said, that's just a shame. He said, they don't even listen to you.
Oh, boy. Well, advice like that is great. And, you and I, we're going to have to do a show one day, maybe in Northport or something by the water. And we'll pick a topic. Maybe the next topic will be something that's really cheerful, something that excites us all. And I certainly appreciate that you came back on here, and we certainly appreciate the advice you just gave. And I hope the younger people, seriously the younger people, start paying attention to people like you and me. I mean, we're both in our 50s. We know what we're talking about. So for you young people out in the audience, listen to Gloria and myself. And keep in mind, folks, I keep a hard copy of every single show. So if anything that you just heard, if you write to me, or if you call me at 844-405-HELP or at 631-599-0218, I will fax or email a hard copy to you. Gloria, thank you so much for coming on my show today. I hope that we get together real soon again. I know you and I will talk every day anyway via Facebook.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to. I always enjoy all of your posts, and I always enjoy seeing your smiling face.
Thanks so much, Gloria. And listen, let's do a show maybe somewhere in your neighborhood or down in Northport, so we don't have to do the phone one next time, maybe, okay?
That sounds great. I love it.
All right, Gloria. Listen, I'll let you go survive your chiropractor and after the gym, and you have yourself a great day. Thank you for letting me speak to you on the phone, and we'll talk real soon.
Okay, Ralph. Sounds good.
Okay, bye, Gloria.
Bye, Ralph.
Bye-bye. Folks, that was Gloria Jean Roberts. I thank her so much for calling in. I hope that you start a brand new day today. Let today be the first day of your new life. Respect your elders. Bye-bye.